Hello, 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 and welcome to Trading Made Easy right here on YouTube. Glad you found yourself here. Today we're going to be doing a quick analysis. I'm going to be working with the USD pairs for tonight. And it is Sunday, of course, and this is one of the things that I do over the weekend is just to analyze the charts, the different pairs and things like that, especially the ones that I am particularly interested in trading. And I typically go on to my trading view so that I can do a top-down analysis, and it just helps me to determine what price, the likelihood of what price wants to do. Remember, as traders, we do what price want to do, and we just follow that, right? So in order to do that, we need to know what price wants to do. And the most effective way of making that determination is by doing a top-down analysis. So what I'm going to do is share with you what I do. Now, this is the 15-minute chart. I do not trade the 15-minute chart. I trade the hour chart, right? That's what I do. I trade the hour chart. And so let's go over to our, let's take this off so we can have room. Let's go over to our trading view, okay? So right now we're looking, before we do that, we're looking at a bullish trend, right? That's what we're looking at. We're looking at price wanting to what? Go up, okay? There's different indications that tell us that on the simplicity chart as well. But let's do an official top-down analysis, okay? Because what we want to always be in the mindset of doing as traders is confirming. That's a mess right there, so let's remove that. We want to be confirming. We want confluence. We want confirmation, right? We want enough data to determine what price wants to do so that we will always know where we are in the market. And that's very important as traders. You don't want to be lost in the market, meaning you don't want to be in a position where you really just don't know what price want to do. So one of the things that you can do, I highly recommend, is do a top-down analysis, right? Do it over the weekend. Practice that. Practice that. I do understand, let me just first say, that the system does a lot of this work for you. I get it. It's a very simplistic system, which is a great thing. I don't believe that trading should be hard. However, right, because it is simple and it does a lot of the heavy lifting for you, there can be a deficit in your overall understanding of the market. And at some point, my friend, that's going to hurt you. So it's good to utilize the simplicity of the trading system. Definitely, definitely. But in the meantime, you want to be developing your skill set, developing the ability to do a top-down analysis and to understand what price is doing and to understand, what you're looking at and what you're waiting on and different things like that. Because what happens is, one, of course, you're building your skill set outside of the indicator, and there's nothing wrong with that, right? Because what you know, nobody can take that from you. Nobody can take that from you. So it's good to have that understanding, that overall understanding, because if nothing else, it's going to serve as an additional level of confirmation for you as to what you're looking at on the chart, right? And it all works together. It all makes sense. So what I would encourage you to do is on the weekends, take some time out and start working with the pairs, doing your analysis, understanding how price is moving. Also understand that price moves differently from pair to pair, right? From time frame to time frame. But understanding that is key. So USD Chef, I'm on the monthly. Now, the reason I'm on the monthly, of course, that's the overall time frame. That's the big picture, right? That's the big picture of what price typically wants to do. So only thing that I'm doing on the monthly, however, is I'm just boxing in price, high and low. The high is the highest it has gone and the low point that it has gone to. Now keep in mind, this is a monthly time frame. So each candle represents 1 month. So it's not necessary to go all the way up here, right? Yeah, this is a high point, but guess what? This is 2010. It's not necessary to go that far back. We want to go to the high and low points relative to current price. relative to current price. So I would really be looking at this area here. That's May of 2019. May of 2019. So that's cool. I'll do that. May of 2019. So I'm going to drop me a horizontal line right there. Okay. So there we go. And then the low area, I'm going to go with, obviously, this point right here. Okay. And that is March of 2020. Okay. So now we just trapped in price. What do you mean? Basically, from this period to this period, we had a high, price went as high as 02174. It went as low as 91622. So that is the range of price that we are looking to work within, simply because that's where price went relative to current price. Relative to current price. Another thing that you want to notice, of course, I always have my 50. Always have my 50, right? Always have my 50. And price is what? Under the 50. So right there is telling me that we're looking at an overall bearish market on U-shell right off the bat, right? So that's good information to know. Overall, though, keep that in mind. Overall. So now what we want to do is we want to go to, now you see this, excuse me, this little candle, you probably can't see it, but it is there. Of course, it represents July. We just entered into the month, so you don't see a lot of volume. Makes sense, right? However, let me let you know, there is volume going on. There is buying and selling going on. So let's put our vertical line right there, right there. Okay. Now, the reason I did that is because we're going to drop down. So for the monthly, keep in mind, we're just boxing price in. That's all you're doing. You don't got to do no hard analysis or anything like that. You just boxing price in relative to current price, meaning you don't have to go all the way back into Egypt, just relative to current price, right? And then on the weekly, now when we drop down to the weekly, let me move myself out of the way. We drop down to the weekly. We want to see on the weekly if any patterns are forming. If any patterns are forming. Now, this is the vertical line. This is the vertical line, obviously, from the monthly. But again, the month just opened, so we don't have a full week, right, of data, which is why there's no additional candles over here. So in that case, since that's the case, I'm going to go ahead and take it off because it's not really serving as a purpose right now, right? So on the weekly, however, what you want to start looking for are patterns, trends, if you can identify any trends at that point. And we can, right? We can, because again, we're under our 50 and we're bearish. Obviously, we're under the 50. And I do see a potential trend forming right here, right? And we can take that down. Take that down. 1, 2, follow through. That's your formula for doing a trend line. 2 touches, right? And the third one confirms. 2 touches, and the third one confirms. So if you have more, two, you need 2, okay? 1, 2, follow through. And you want to have those 2 connecting. The third connection, if you have a third connection, that actually confirms your trend line. Like it makes it a bona fide trend line. And in this case, we definitely do have that, right? So we have identified our trend on the weekly. What do we know at this point? We know that we are overall what? Bearish. We're overall bearish, okay? Now, keep in mind, as you go down time frames, that overall bearish trend can be a bullish trend on the lower time frames. But we just need to keep going, right? So that's what we have great information at this point. And we're not doing anything deep, right? We're not doing anything deep. We're just looking at what price is doing right now. That's what we're doing. So now that was the weekly. Let me go back over here. Now let's drop down to what? The daily. Now, on the daily, what you want to do is see first, you want to see if the trend on the weekly is still the trend on the daily, right? Um, and in this case, it is, right? Why? Because price has respected this trend line, right? Price has respected this trend line, meaning what? Meaning price did not break it and close. It didn't do that. So what are we still in? We're still in an overall bearish market for the daily, right? For the daily. Okay, so again, we're not doing anything. There's nothing else to do here. We confirmed, obviously, that the trend is still solid, as a bearish trend is still solid on the daily, right? And we're still going down. Like you can even put a trend line if you can identify another trend within the big, small trend within the big trend. If you can identify that, then point it out. So like right here, let's see, 1, 2, follow through. Okay, we have a little trend line here. I want to make that like a little teal. Oops. Let's make that a little teal blue. Okay, so that can identify my my daily trend, right? Here's my what? My weekly trend, right? Here's my daily trend. A trend, a small trend forming here within the overall trend. Now, that is really useful because I don't want to overkill, but that's really useful if it was bullish, right? And you can identify that. But if it's overall bearish and your daily is bearish, hey, you don't really have to do that. But for training purposes, I wanted to just point out that there are smaller trends that develop within an overall trend. And so that's what that is. Okay, so now, still bearish. Let's go down to what? Our 4 hour. Now, on the 4 hour, we're looking for potential setups now, right? We're looking at potential setups. How can we get into the position? Okay, so let's fix this up. Now, if you see on your trend line when you drop down, looks kind of funky, then yeah, go ahead on and fix that up, right? Go ahead and fix that up. So we want to make the adjustment here, okay? Make your adjustment there. 1, 2, follow through. So we have our 3 touches right there, okay? Right there, touch. That's not touching, close enough. Touch, touch. Okay, good. And what direction is it going? It's going down, bearish, right? Here's our overall bearish trend. Did it break it? Absolutely not. So we're still overall bearish, right? We're still overall bearish. So at this point, what should we be looking for, right? At this point, what should we be looking for? We should be looking to sell, obviously, right? We should be looking to sell. All righty, so that's where we are. That's where we are. Now, let's drop down to, see, nothing, we're not doing anything deep here. Nothing deep, right? It does get deeper, but I'm only doing this phase of the analysis. This phase, because here's the thing. We want to always ask ourselves these 3 questions. Where's price? How did price get there? And where do we go from there? Like, how do we get in the trade, right? So, where is price? We're on a 4 hour, right? Where's price right now? Meaning, what is price doing right now? Well, we're in an overall downtrend right now, right? And so, price here is a continuation. We got a little candle right here where it closed. And it looks to be a correction forming, meaning looks to be going up. But we have to wait because it's too soon to tell. Okay, so that's where it's at right now. Now you can also, I want to kind of stick with the topic here because but you can also put your little trend line right there. Anytime that you want to see what price is doing a little clearer, drop a trend line. Drop a trend line, because anytime price breaks structure, it tends to want to go in that direction, especially if it's in the direction of the overall trend, right? So in this case here, we had like a little up move going on, right? And what we want to do, we want to wait to see, because remember, we're still overall bearish. So we want to wait to see. What we're trying to determine is, does price want to move up now? That's what you want to be asking yourself, because we got this move up. So the thought would be, well, does price want to start rallying back up? Well, so that we can see what price want to do, we want to add what? A trend line. So you add your trend line, and now we're waiting to see if price respects the trend line. What is price going to do in relation to this structure? Now, if price breaks the structure to the downside and close, then what we want to conclude, at least to this point, is that price wants to continue to go down in the overall direction of the trend. Now, if price would have broke above it, or stayed above it, I should say, and respected this trend line and broke the trend line right here on the 4-hour, right? Then, and obviously if it breaks the 50, now we know that price wants to begin what? Rallying up. But it did not do that. So we're still in a overall downtrend on the 4-hour. That's how you break that down, right? Nothing deep. You don't got to go all deep, right? So now that's the 4-hour. I want to take this off because it starts getting crazy with all these lines. So now, so on the 4-hour and the 1-hour, we're looking for our move, more or less. Are we going to buy or are we going to sell? That's what we're looking for, right? And so now I go down to the hour. And on the hour, on the hour, everything's still looking like what? A sale. We have our 50 that's confirming it. It broke, boom, broke, closed, bam, right? And then it still rallied under the 50, under the 4-hour trend, right? We're still, and of course, obviously, the overall trend is bearish, so we're under all of that. So what are we doing? We're selling. Absolutely. We should not be looking for buys at all, right? Now this is where I kind of separate myself from others, because you can drop down at this point. You can, because you're looking for entry, right? On the 4-hour and the 1-hour, you're looking for entry. And at that point, you can drop down to the lower time frame so that you can identify your entry and enter into the position. But all of this, what we just did, was to conclude the overall direction that price is going in. And remember, wherever price is going, that's where we want to go. So we are in a strong bearish market right now for U-shell. Now, let's go, that's on the hour, right? That's on the hour. So let's drop down to the 15-minute and let's check it out. So on the 15-minute, what are you looking for? You're looking for entry. You're looking for entry, right? And you're looking for entry to do what? To sell. To sell. You're looking for an entry to sell. Now, we just got this bullish engulfing candle, right? So what that means is that price wants to start rallying up. It wants to start rallying up. However, it's still under my 50. It's still under my 4-hour trend line, right? We're still in an overall sale. We're still in an overall sale. So because you have that here, you don't want to go ahead and put in no buy, because we're still selling. We're still selling. This is a correction to what? To the 15-minute, because on the 15-minute, we're in an overall sale on the 15-minute time frame. So if that be the case, then the impulsive move is what? Is bearish. Is bearish because it's the price moves in 3 directions: impulse, correction, and continuation. So the impulse is always in the direction of the trend. So when we know the trend, we automatically know the impulse, right? Everything else lines up. So we're in an overall downtrend on the 15-minute, which means this bullish run here is a correction. So if we're looking for a sale, because we want to sell when it starts to continue, when it starts to continue. So in essence, what we're looking for right now, and here, like I said, we have a nice almond, right? Whenever you have consolidation, that is the beginning of a flag pattern. And so we do see a nice flag pattern forming right here. And we don't trade consolidation, right? So what are we waiting on? We're waiting on a breakout. That's what we're waiting on, a breakout. And once it breaks out in the direction of the trend that we're taking, then we'll go get our entry going. Now there's still some confirmations that you still want to adhere to, some rules, right? You must have a trading plan. Like for real, if you don't have a trading plan, just give me your money. How about that? I'll put it to good use. Okay. So absolutely, you need a trading plan. Okay. And so we don't just go on one confirmation. We need multiple. And so in this case, we're waiting for a breakout. It did break out right here, and then it rallied down. And then of course we got this bullish engulfing candle. That is an indication that price wants to start rallying up, but we don't have enough confluence to say buy. Everything else still says sell. Okay, everything else still says sell. So even on a 15-minute, you're not looking to do anything, right? You're not looking to do anything at this point. We still overall selling, okay? But this bullish engulfing candle would give me pause to wait for further confirmation, okay? That makes sense? So now what I'm going to do, now we just went from top down on our analysis. Now I do trade on the hour time frame. So now we're on U-Chef on the hour time frame. Voila, we have a bullish engulfing candle. I'm sorry, a bullish arrow, meaning we're going up, right? So remember what I said. Let me go back. So let's go back to the hour. Okay, let's go back to the hour. Because see, all of this makes sense. Nothing just happens, right? What do we have on the hour time frame? Am I on the hour? Great, I'm on the hour. What do we have on the hour time frame? Right? We have what? A bullish engulfing candle on the hour time frame. Okay? So that tells you, remember I was saying, and I blocked it in, that was on 15, but you can see that here where I tracked the price on the flag, and we have the bullish engulfing candle, right? It broke above the top trend line on the flag pattern. That tells us that price wants to go up, right? That price wants to go up, but we need more confirmation. We need more confirmation, and this is where the simplicity system comes in, because now it just now serves as a confirmation. So if you had done this analysis and you saw this and you said, well, okay, we got a bullish engulfing, that tells me that price want to start going up. Yes, we're still overall in a bearish market though. Why? Because we're under the 50. We're still under the trend line on the 4-hour as well, and obviously on the monthly we're under that trend is also. So we're still overall in a bearish market, but price has shown itself to want to begin to do what? To rally up. And then when we go to our simplicity, we see that clear as day. Why? Because we have what? We have our bullish big arrow that tells us, that confirms that that's what price wants to do. However, let me move over here. Okay, that's what it wants to do. So now we in the zone. We're in the demand zone. What happens in the demand zone? Buyers start to collect. Buyers start to collect inside of the demand zone. More buyers are coming in. And the more buyers that come into the demand zone, the stronger the bullish pressure becomes. And eventually it does what? It pushes out. And that's what you're seeing here. So it broke out of the zone, it closed, it came back, but then it rallied back up, right? Then we just had this little consolidation going on. And what happened? We've been hitting some resistance here, right? Why? Because overall, there's still a strong bearish momentum going on. Still a strong bearish momentum going on. The overall trend is bearish. On the 1 hour, we have a small pocket of bullish activity. And you can capitalize on that, right? You can capitalize on that. But you got to keep in mind that, hey, this is an overall bearish market. What does that mean? You don't want to just rally, going for no 100 pips, right? You want to go ahead on and just get your, I'm a 20 pip, right? 20 pip is what I stand by. But you can get you between 20 and 30 pips and just get out, right? Just get out because you are a small guppy in a big pond, so to speak, right? It's the overall is bearish, but there are pockets of bullish activity as you drop down to the smaller time frames based on the confirmations, the indicators that we have with the simplicity. And that's what makes it such a awesome tool because it tells you what those pockets are per time frame, and based on your overall confirmations you can safely get into the trade. So with that being said, we know that okay, we got some bullish activity. This is just a small pocket of bullish activity. It's just a small pocket, right? And you even see here where it's trying to still push down. Why? Because we're still in an overall strong bearish market. That's why, right? So we're here and price wants to do what? Okay, so let's go back. All right, what is price doing? We got impulse, correction, continuation. The impulse is always in the direction of the trend. What is the trend? Bullish, right? So the impulse is bullish. That means all of our bearish candles are what? Corrections. And any bullish candle after that is what? A continuation. So we are bullish, impulse, correction, bearish. Then we have some consolidation going on right here, right? Consolidation. We went into a little correction and then what? We came back down. Not correction, a continuation. Then we came back down in a correction. And it's also a descending channel right here. Okay, so go up here and we 1 2, right? 1 2 follow through, 1 2 follow through. Okay, so you see how our price is going down. It came down and then it kind of it's like a little boot, so to speak. That's an descending channel, which is a reversal pattern as well. That's an indication of a reversal. So the expectation is that it's going to, reverse. If it's going to reverse from a bearish move, it's going to do what? It's going to rally back up. That's the reversal. Okay. So now that we have our trend line here, what do we want to wait for? We want to wait for it to break and close, right? Because we don't know if that overall bullish momentum pushes price down and break this little support that is on and go back into a downward move. We don't know. That may happen, right? That may happen. So we have to have parameters around what we're doing because what do we want to do? We want to do what price wants to do. In order to do what price wants to do, we have to know what price wants to do, right? And these are the things that you want to get accustomed to doing so that you can determine what price want to do. So basically right now, yes, we have this big arrow saying we want to go up. I even got my my entry arrow, right? My first confirmation. That's my first confirmation. So I even got that. Right? But guess what? It's still funky. It's still funky. This is not, we don't want to play in this pond, right? This indecision, don't know, all of that. We don't want that. Then guess what happened? Then we got to push down and we got a descending channel, right? So that knowing that that's a reversal pattern, we are looking, what price is saying to me, looking at this, is that I possibly want to break up, which is not surprising because this small pocket is bullish, right? But the overall is bearish. So now I have to see if there's going to be enough bullish activity to push this up. That's what I'm looking for. And that is an analysis, guys. That's an analysis. So what are you going to do with this particular pair? We're going to wait. What are we waiting on? We're waiting for a break. Break structure. Close above it, right? And then we do what? We reassess with what? Our confirmations. Our confirmations. That is how you do a proper analysis, right? And that's the very basics of it. Of course, I do go a little deeper because there's more to it, but it's stair steps, right? We just put in one ingredient in at a time, digesting that at a time, understanding that first so that the next level you have that baseline understanding so that it will prepare you for the next level of understanding. Okay, so that's what we did. And that's what I encourage you all to do when you are analyzing the chart. Go to your trading view, start there, analyze there, and then compare or confirm or allow the simplicity to confirm your analysis, because it always does. This system is just great, and it goes is in direct alignment with what price. Don't get caught up in the big arrows, the indicators, the other arrows, and all of it. Don't get caught up in that, because price rules all of it. And so we have to understand what price is doing. Okay. So I hope that that was a help to you all. I'm going to start doing more training on structure, because that's what we just did. Structure is key, right? Structure is key. This just complements structure. And so I'm going to be doing more training on that. Subscribe to the channel so that you can get some sauce. You can get some little nuggets, you know what I mean, to just add to your understanding box, right? Because it's piece by piece, inch by inch, and it's a cinch. So subscribe to the channel so that you can stay in the loop. If this gave you some value, give me a thumbs up. Of course, if you have any comments, certainly utilize that. I try to make every effort to read the comments and respond to the comments as well. Now listen, if you don't have the system, you need the system, right? For real. You can trade the easy way. Why do it hard when you can do it easy, right? The system is very accurate, and the indications that we have on here is accurate, and it definitely helps you to profit more consistently. So if you want the system, my link is certainly inside of the description of this video. Now, if you want assistance one-on-one, I definitely do one-on-one training so that we can peel the onion back, answer your questions, get some more clarifications, right? Present a roadmap that you can follow. That's so important, that now you're not looking all over the place. You don't feel like you're flying in the wind, because why? You have a map. You have a map. And that's what the one-on-one training will provide for you, where I share the trading plan, the methodology, the mindset behind the trading plan, and show you how it actually works on the chart. So get booked for a one-on-one session so that you can get that level of understanding if you feel that you need that, right? I'll have the link there as well. So until the next video, guys, I will see you on the next time. Bye-bye.